Hello, my name's Kev and I foot brake a lot. And I'm often asked about foot braking from people who have not done it very much. But I've found that watching and learning from other riders has been really useful. You'll probably find that more experienced riders are a little bit blasé or often think that foot braking is too simple to actually go to a video for. But I've got some hints and tips here that are really useful. First of all, I would suggest that you understand when to use it, when not to use it, and I'll go through that later. There are two options. You can do a standing foot brake or a Swiss foot brake. One of the things I would put forward is that it is not an emergency stop. You probably need other techniques for doing that kind of manoeuvre. But if you want to make sure that you can get comfortable in stopping, slowing down, that's great because that will give you confidence to go faster. Firstly, foot braking puts a lot less stress on your body if your hips and your shoulders are facing the direction of travel, and that your feet, generally speaking, are more aimed towards the direction of travel rather than being across the board at 90 degrees to travel. So, roughly think I need to aim my feet and my body towards the direction of travel, towards the front of the board. If you push Mongo and you want to foot brake with the Mongo stance, where your back foot is still on the board and your front foot goes to the ground, then the hints that we'll show you here should still apply, but I think it's a little bit more tricky than doing it in the regular stance with your front foot on the board. My first tip is to practice, even if it's indoors. Stand on your board, one foot at the front of the board and the other just dangling in the air. Practice this a lot so that you get used to standing on the board with one foot. On the video, pay attention to the foot that I'm placing on the ground. Notice that I'm lifting my toes. This is really important for making sure that you're stable under braking, but most importantly, when you first put your foot down to start braking, it stabilizes your foot. Lift the toes. I've emphasized it here. As you get more comfortable with it, you won't need to lift them so much, but this is a good beginner's tip. And also notice how my foot is reasonably close to the front truck, or more importantly, it's fairly close to my bald foot. It's just behind it. So the foot that goes onto the ground, don't place it too far forward in front of your standing foot. Don't put it to the ground far away from the board or too far back. If you've slowed down enough and you want to continue riding, then during the foot brake, simply dip your toes onto the tarmac. And the fact that you're moving and your toes dig into the tarmac will in itself flick your foot back behind you, and you can use that mechanism, that motion, to actually just flick it back up onto your board. So you don't really need to stand up or do any jerky motion or anything. You simply just dip your toe, and the movement and the friction on the ground will flick your foot back round behind you. Standing foot brake is really useful at slower speeds. At faster speeds, let's say 25 or over, whatever's comfortable for you guys, then I would suggest learning the Swiss foot brake. And it's the same technique, except that you crouch down during the actual foot braking. And what you can do is you can use your hand to grab the front of the board, and you kind of pull up on the front of the board, but what you're doing is pushing your bum back and down onto the board. So you're trying to push your bum to the board. And this means that you're applying more pressure to your ground foot, the foot that's actually doing the braking on the ground, so you can brake harder but still be stable. I hope the video is useful to you. As I say, none of this was my idea. I'm not clever enough to invent this stuff. I've learned it from very good riders myself. So enjoy the video. Thanks.